Hello. Tonight, the Orkney Horror, a grisly tale of infanticide on the remote islands that's literally been buried for almost a century.
30 years on, the first of the manufactured boy bands hits the road again. Mickey Dolenz joins us on the Monkees revival.
Do you take ecstasy? Do your kids take it? Tonight, the controversial testing kit that tells you what's in the pill you're about to pop. But could it mean even more deaths and not less?
And as Albert Square's most lovable loser, Billy Mitchell confronts the demons of his tortured childhood, actor Perry Fenwick joins us live.
But you could be a lovable winner tonight. Get in with a chance of picking up thousands in You Say We Pay. We'll have the entry question for you at 5:10.
First, the extraordinary story of the dead babies discovered by workmen renovating a cottage kitchen on an Orkneys farm. The recovery of the 3 tiny skeletons buried under the kitchen floor has uncovered a grisly secret, a murder mystery going back nearly a century and 4 generations. Michael Gray's great-grandmother drowned 4 of her daughter Violet's illegitimate babies in a rusty bucket the minute they were born, before their mother's eyes. And Michael's with us now, and your father was in fact the 5th baby who miraculously was saved by the fact that a doctor had to witness his birth because of complications.
He was a breech birth, but there's no evidence to suggest that that she had definitely had 4 children. I mean, that was just the story that was passed down to me. I mean,
right.
It may have only been 3, but...
But when the 3 remains, 3 little bodies were discovered, that was no real surprise to you?
No, I've been made aware of it before, because when my father's mother died, my grandmother, when she died, when she was on her deathbed, she confessed to my father the whole story to him.
It's a deathbed confession?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
More or less.
The story being that in those days, of course, we're talking about the early part of the century, it was a huge social stigma to have an illegitimate baby. And your grandmother, Violet, got pregnant several times. And each time, your great-grandmother, was her name Tamima or Tamima? Tamima couldn't bear the shame. She was a well-to-do woman, wasn't she? Had a lot of social standing in the Orkneys.
So in that case, it was nothing to do with not having enough money to bring the babies up?
I mean, like, some folks suggested that since all this has come out, but I mean, that's just people that aren't aware of the status of the family at the time. I mean, they certainly could have afforded to bring up that.
So your great-grandmother would sit like how to describe it, a midwife of death, really. She'd sit and wait for the baby to be born, and after its first breath, she'd get hold of it, and in front of your grandmother, she'd drown it in a bucket.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's entirely speculation. I mean, nobody can say for sure what actually happened.
But that's the story that was passed down.
Yeah, I mean, that's more or less what I was told.
When you heard that as a horrible family legend, was your instinct to disbelieve it? Or did you just go into denial and think, it happened a long time before I was born, I don't need to know this?
Well, I mean, the way it was told, I mean, I knew it was true. I mean,
you knew it was true.
There was no reason to disbelieve it, and as far as I can gather, it wasn't really an uncommon thing to be happening in the early 1900s.
We'll talk to historian Meg Arnott about that in just a minute. But at the time, your father...
Who survived, the one survivor.
The one survivor. Your grandmother, Violet, was so scared that your great-grandmother would get at him,
kill him,
that she virtually locked him in the attic for the first 3 years of his life. And your father told you about that, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he didn't tell me. He told my mother about that. And
the other thing is that your father was doing some work around the house, wasn't he? The house where all this happened. And it's your belief, this is some years before he died, it's your belief that he stumbled across at least one.
It's quite possible.
Why? What happened?
Well, the property that all this was discovered in, my father never actually lived in that house. He lived in the house next door, which he owned as well. And he was renovating that house for us to live in. This was before I was born. I mean, he was a very, very calm-tempered sort of man. Like, I mean, he never got mad about anything. And he just stopped working on the house for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
When your mother asked him why,
he just wouldn't give her any explanation at all.
And it's interesting that it's believed that there were 4 murders, only 3 tiny skeletons have been found, and it's possible, only possible, all of this is shrouded in mystery and guesswork, it's possible that your father may have only found one of them and buried it
And it was a different area of the house that he was working in when
Yeah.
he stopped working on it. And I mean, when my mother asked him about it, I mean, he lost his temper completely, and that was completely against his character.
There was, and you've been aware of this all your life, that there was sort of village folklore, if you like, or village
Whispers and
rumours
rumours,
gossip
rumours
that,
on the
that
wind.
babies had disappeared. What kind of effect did all this have on your family?
Well, it wasn't really an issue when I was growing up, but I mean, it's certainly escalated now that the stories come to light. I mean, nobody's actually said anything directly to my face, but I know that there's certainly a lot of people that aren't happy about me talking to the press about it.
Really, they'd rather it was kept a closed issue just for the islanders. I can understand that. Let's come to Dr. Megana. Hello, thanks for coming in. I mean, you've researched a lot of this stuff, and as you said, this wasn't particularly uncommon 100 years ago, was it?
No, it wasn't. I think this case of serial infanticide, these kinds of serial infanticides were much more uncommon than a single infanticide. And it seems to me that this case is very much a case of infanticide being used as a form of very brutal abortion at a time when contraception and abortion, while becoming more available, were still not widely available to all classes in society. And so I think that is one of the explanations for infanticide.
3 or 4 on the trot. I mean,
yeah, that is more unusual, but I can say in my research in the Victorian period I have found 1 or 2 other cases that have a very strong resonance with this one. There was one in Ditchling in 1853 and they found in a house in a chimney breast a collection of tiny babies' skeletons.
Really?
And something that has a very strong echo with this.
It's extraordinary, isn't it, to think that women in those days were often so poor and so ignorant and so unable to control their conceptions that they felt it was the only thing that they could resort to. We've got a friend who's had a relative in family history who was a prostitute, and the story was that prostitutes would actually, when a baby was born, they would be strangled with their own umbilical cord by another prostitute as soon as the baby was born.
It may well be that some prostitutes resorted to that technique of unburdening themselves of unwanted children. But I haven't come across any evidence that prostitutes were more likely to do it than other poor, economically vulnerable women.
No, well, exactly.
And also
No, but
particularly considering that prostitutes were more likely to be using barrier methods as prophylactic against venereal
No,
disease.
They were clued up, really.
But like
to
Michael,
pregnant.
within our friend's family history, that is family folklore.
Well, anyway, thank you for being here. But although it's been tough for you, I guess it must be healthy. It must be healthy for this family secret to come out. Although, as you say, you've got a few funny looks, it must be better that it's out rather than continually being gossiped about and whispered about. Come clean and get it out in the open.
Well, I mean, the only thing I was concerned about when it first came out was that everybody was pointing their finger at my granny and saying that it was her to blame for the whole thing. And I mean, until I gave the story to the Daily Record, I mean, people had very little to say about it. I mean, everybody just assumed it was her and that was it. And the man's I said that it was actually my great-grandmother to blame. It. Everybody's come up with...
Did you know your granny?
No, she died in 1960, so it was long before I was even born.
Oh well, thanks very much indeed for being here. It is, I mean, it is to those of us looking at it, and it's a long time ago, but it is the most fascinating story, it's an extraordinary thing, and it just speaks volumes of the times that your ancestors lived in.
Happens now in China.
Absolutely, happens to girls in China, doesn't it? Thank you both. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Total change of pace. This is today's question to play for thousands, and you say we pay.
Here it is. Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz are in London for the premiere of their latest film. But what is it called? Is it Vanilla Pod, Vanilla Sky, or Vanilla Shake? You can leave your answer on 0901 490 4444. Good luck.
I loved the Monkeys. As a little lad, the highlight of my week was Saturday tea time when they were on. And the funny thing is, our own kids used to watch them and didn't realise that the shows were about 30 years old. And they're still around. The Monkeys are about to kick off their first British tour for some years.
Hey, hey, we're the Monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. Oh, then I saw her face, now I'm a believer, not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love
Vicky's here.
I was so young.
I know, weren't we all?
Well, we all, baby.
It's all right.
All right. The thing is, you said yourself that there was a period at the time, although you were massive, it wasn't cool, right, to like the Monkees. And yet now, and I hope I'm not embarrassing my kids if they're watching and they're in the mid-teens. No, I'm not, because this is a common thing. They think the music, certain tracks are really good. I got the CD of the greatest hits about a year ago. And stuff like I'm a Believer and Daydream Believer, they love.
Well, they were written by great writers, you know. Carole King, Neil Diamond wrote I'm a Believer. Jon Stewart wrote Daydream Believer. Carole King wrote Pleasant Valley Sunday, Boyce and Hart. Lieber and Stoller, Diane Hildebrand, Carol Bayer Sager. These people don't write a lot of duff tunes. You know, I'd like to think that my vocals had something to do with it also, but when you have that kind of quality material to start with, even today, it's hard to miss, you know.
Well, it's as good as having the Beatles write for you, isn't it?
Oh, they're incredible writers, and we had the best of the best writing for us, and so that's why it's still easy to sing the songs. That's why they stand up over all the years. And the television show, in the same sense, the television show was created by Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, two very, very well-known television producer-directors, directed by James Frawley, who just was nominated for an Emmy for directing Ally McBeal now, written by great writers at the time. The movie Head we did, written by Jack Nicholson. So that, you know, all of those people were the Monkees. It wasn't just the four of us that were cast.
That's the real thing, because you're all basically actors, although you could sing and obviously you could play an instrument, but you're all basically actors playing characters. So what must have been quite surreal for you to come to terms with all this adulation as a real group? And there's
Did you see Galaxy Quest?
No,
Tim Allen movie?
No, the one where she went blonde, when Sigourney Weaver.
It's where...
Yeah, I know the story.
Where the cast of a television show like Star Trek, the aliens think that they're really astronauts. Well, in a way, that's very similar to what happened. It's not quite accurate that we were just actors. The auditions were extensive, more than any audition I'd ever been on in Hollywood. There were screen tests. But these weren't auditions like pop stars now. This was behind the scenes. This was on a sound stage early in the morning. And it was much like casting a West End musical, because I've done that since. I directed and wrote the book and cast Bugsy Malone, way back in
83, I think it was.
By the way, I cast this very young 14-year-old dancer who was absolutely marvelous, named Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's right.
Anyway, I remember at the time casting that theater, and the way you cast theater is you cast for people that just have that something, the X factor, you know, what do you want to call it, that walk on stage, you can't take your eyes off of them. To get in the Monkees, to get in the door, I remember, you had to be able to sing, you had to be able to act, you had to be able to play an instrument, you had to be able to move, you had to look, you know, well, the looks weren't so important. They weren't looking for pretty boys. Look at me. You know, they were not trying to cast distinctive personalities.
Yeah.
And you had to be able to do it all. The auditions were extensive. They went on and on.
But what's interesting is, and I didn't know this until I was reading up some notes today, the NBC, who commissioned the show, got very cold feet when they realised that they were going to have to go with lads with long hair.
Oh, they were
remember, this is in the era of like Easy Rider, when one of the two main characters gets blown away with a shotgun because his hair's too long.
The only time you ever saw long-haired people on television, they were getting arrested. It's true. The NBC was scared to death because we represented the counterculture at the time.
Absolutely.
You know, anti-American, and they were very worried about it.
Did you, as young guys, and presumably with a streak of rebellion in you, despite the fact you wanted to get this role, did you feel that the Monkees were a bit too squeaky clean? Did you want them to be a bit more in your face?
No, at the time it was such a bizarre idea even to think about getting a show like this on the air. Bert Schneider and Bob Rafelson were in their early 30s. When I went into the interview, I thought they were there for the part, along with, and that was unheard of at the time, having producers of that age. There were other shows that season trying to be piloted about pop and pop music and rock and roll and all that stuff, but they were different. They were shows that were, you could tell they were like being designed by fat cats sitting up in the top of an office building smoking a cigar saying, let's do a show the kids will like. And I was up for them. I was up for a couple of other pilots, but the Monkees was very different. These guys were hip. They were huge Beatle fans.
They got it.
And what they wanted to do was capture the moment. They wanted to take what was happening on the streets and as much and as far as they could get it on television. The censors made it impossible to really do anything. There's a very famous story when we were doing an episode that actually won the Emmy for the best comedy series that year. It was called The Devil and Peter Tork, and it was Faust. It was the Devil and Daniel Webster. It was the Faustian legend. Peter had sold his soul to the devil in order to be able to play the harp, which he'd always wanted to do. And when we found out, we said, Peter, you can't do that. You can't sell your soul. You might go to hell. Well, the NBC censors said, before we filmed, reading the script, you can't say the word hell on television. You cannot say the word hell on television.
Makes our problems seem
Bob Rafelson said, what are you talking about? This is Faust. Come on. And they said, sorry, you can't. So we got to the scene, and what we did, we said, Peter, if you sell your soul to the devil, then you'll end up going to that place that we can't say on television. We were constantly trying to push the envelope a little bit, and we were trying to get little bits about the war in a bit, but it was very, very difficult.
But you were kind of quite. You felt you were ripped off by the companies, the recording companies and things. You didn't get very much money out of it.
Well, no, we didn't, but nobody did in those days, and I don't. I have no regrets. I would have liked to have made a bit more, but we got the same basically that everybody got, and everybody got ripped off. In other words,
I
not
think
just
they
us.
still do actually.
Everybody still. Well, not so much these days, but it was pretty bad back then. Yeah.
The Beatles got you. The Beatles liked you, and there's a great story.
They got it.
They got it. They understood what was going on. Yeah.
John Lennon was the first one to make the observation. He said the Monkees are like the Marx Brothers, and that's a much more accurate analogy than the Beatles. We were more like the Marx Brothers than we were the Beatles in many ways.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see you. The tour starts in March. It's you and Davy Jones.
Yes.
Not the other two, but you got a big eight-piece band?
Yep, big band, horn section and everything. Well, Davy and I sang all the songs. We're kind of the sound of the Monkees, so when we get back together, it kind of comes alive.
Like,
Pinocchio turns into a little boy and comes alive.
When does it start?
March 21st in Glasgow, March 28th in Wembley, Sheffield in between, Nottingham, Birmingham, a couple of places.
Jake, must take, just before we go, you directed us once on a news programme, which is the same news programme where we met.
Yes.
Do you remember that? In Granada. Granada Reports.
Yes, at Granada.
We were also...
And it was one of the first British news shows you directed, and we can still remember on our earpieces hearing this American, we didn't know it was you, until we came out, speaking we heard in our earpieces this American voice saying, you only have 4 cameras? 4?
And only one tape machine? What's happening?
How did we do a show?
Yes, I remember the production manager saying, this is not America.
Well, nothing's changed, Mickey. If you want to visit our gallery, just back there afterwards, you're welcome.
Okay.
Lovely to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Have a good tour.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Now, a sadly routine tragedy occurred last weekend when an 18-year-old boy died after taking ecstasy. Just the latest statistic in a chain of more than 70 E-related deaths since the drug hit the dance scene in the late 80s. Around 500,000 people take ecstasy every weekend. This week, a testing kit for ecstasy, which is chemically known as MDMA, was launched on the internet.
I'm Professor John Henry, and I work here in St Mary's Hospital. My specialist subject is drugs, medicines and poisons. There are some kits now available on the market which enable people to test ecstasy and similar tablets which are sold as ecstasy so that one can see what's in them. I'm going to take a tablet and then I'm going to scrape a little bit off it. I have to add 1 drop to the small amount that's been scraped off the tablet, and we'll see what happens here. Now you can see this colour change has taken place very, very quickly, and it's gone purpley black. That means that we have got MDMA in this particular tablet. We've successfully tested the tablets, we've shown that the test works, and the tablets themselves are going to be destroyed.
Well, we'll meet the man who developed the test in a minute, but first we're going to talk to Liz Spinks, who, like many parents, had no idea that her daughter Lorna was experimenting with drugs, until, that is, she had a call telling her her daughter had collapsed after taking ecstasy. Lorna never regained consciousness. Liz Spinks is on the telephone now from Switzerland, where she lives. Hello, Liz.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
You had no idea that Lorna had ever taken any drugs at all?
Well, we talked about it and she said that no, here in Switzerland I don't think she did. I think that it was once she went to university in England that it started.
The drugs, the ecstasies that she took on the night she died,
yes,
or that led to her death, they were super strength, weren't they? They were very, very
Apparently, but I 9 of them took them and everybody else was fine except Lorna, who died, so it's obviously...
Yes. You know, in fact, you said the effect on her was appalling. You said she looked like she'd been hit by a truck.
Well, yes, it was absolutely appalling. That's why we published the photograph, because we want people to see what it can do.
Yeah. You, in Switzerland, apparently ecstasy tablets are routinely tested at all big concerts. Is that true?
Well, routinely, maybe that's, but for some long while, when there's a large group and they know that there's going to be a lot of, depending on the style of music, etc., they know there's going to be a lot of people taking ecstasy.
Yeah.
They set up a tent, and there's a chemist, and there's sometimes Médecins Sans Frontières, and they're happy to test your tablet for you.
If this do-it-yourself, portable personal testing kit had been available, do you think your daughter might still be alive?
Well, I'm not sure of a portable one. I mean, what I would personally like to see is, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but what I would like to see is that when people know, I mean, if the clubs, and they know perfectly well how many of these kids are taking it, they should have something where they...
So you support testing? You support testing?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, we're very sorry about your girl, and thank you very much for coming on the line to us.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk to the guy who produced these home testing kits. It's Matt McNeil. Also with us here tonight is Kevin Sabet, PhD student at Oxford University, studying drug policy. He says this is madness, this testing idea. And Sue Blackmore, a uni lecturer in psychology, who says knowledge is power. And if you think your kids are dropping E, then you should buy them one of these kits. Let's start with you. I mean, we've seen how it works. What about this basic point, which I know is going to be made in a second, that if you give your kids these kits, you're implicitly condoning the risky business of taking E?
No, I mean, what we're saying is that for someone who has already accepted the risk that they're going to take illegal substances, if they're aware of the risks, which we try and make them completely aware of on our website, we try to provide them with as much information as possible. Once they've accepted that risk, we want to provide them with as much information as we physically can to help them, assist them in making their decision.
What is an adulterated E-tablet bulked out with? What's in it which causes it to be more dangerous than a pure E-tablet?
It can be a variety of things. Some of the most well-known ones are perhaps DXM, which is it's used as a replacement because it's a legal drug in the UK. It's used in cough medicines a lot, but in the concentrations they tend to put it in ecstasy tablets it can be extremely dangerous, particularly if someone takes it, the effect wears off, and then they drop another tablet of a different type which does contain ecstasy. It can be incredibly dangerous.
It's a volatile mix.
Yes, it's incredibly dangerous.
Can you just clear this up for me, because I don't understand. Liz Spinks just told us that her daughter Lorna had apparently, according to pathology reports, taken tablet which was extremely pure and extremely strong. Not necessarily adulterated with anything else, but it still killed her.
Yes, and what we're saying is that that's why you've got to accept the risk. You have to know that any drug, any substance can kill you. You can have a completely allergic reaction to MDMA in the same way that someone could have an allergic reaction to peanuts.
So there's no guarantee that by testing an E-pill and finding it's pure, not laced with anything else, that it's not going to do you a lot of harm.
No,
may
exactly.
even kill you.
It's for people who've made the decision that they want to take an illegal substance. They know the risks and that there are risks involved, but they still want to do it. It's to help make it that little bit safer and give them what they're expecting.
Just to get this absolutely clear, the reason that these unscrupulous, well, they're all unscrupulous, but the dealers who adulterate the tablets do it is because they want to keep back as much E as they can to distribute, and they put drugs in which mimic E, basically, which are much cheaper. So they're making more profit. They're creaming off the profit.
Yeah, there are unscrupulous manufacturers who do that. There are other ones that some other chemicals that have similar effects to begin with are much more easy to manufacture than MDMA.
Gotcha.
So there's a variety.
And then you take a real E, and the two things combine, and bang, you're in trouble.
It can be incredibly
Well, let's come to Kevin Sabet over there, because you're a student. Hello, Kevin. You're a student at Oxford. You're doing a PhD, particularly into the public policy on drugs. Being a student and presumably having lots of friends who have taken ecstasy, you are nevertheless strictly, despite all your research into all this, or perhaps because of all your research into all this, strictly against taking ecstasy.
Yeah, really. Well, it's based on the research. We actually have a lot of scientific research on the drug and what it can do, and double-blind studies has shown that pure ecstasy, the kind that would pass the so-called tests, actually do produce long-term, in some people, permanent damage to the brain, and specifically to the serotonin neurotransmitters in the brain.
That's the stuff that makes you feel happy.
Happy, that's exactly, because when you take ecstasy, you have a flush of that, an unnatural rush of it, and in the future, at times when you think you should be happy, many times you can't become happy.
But you're not saying that would happen after just one.
Etc.
Okay, but you're not saying that would happen after just one tablet. You're saying that's with protracted use, aren't you?
Well, of course not. In fact, after one tablet, death could occur, and this is what happened after Mrs. Fink's daughter. Unfortunately, that's what happened. I mean, the problem with drugs is we don't know our own body's DNA. We don't know how we're going to react to a drug. So that's why my stance is let's educate more. And this government has done a terrible job on educating people on ecstasy, on the scientific research. Instead, we have police chiefs every other weekend saying that ecstasy should be legal along with cocaine.
Just one question based on your life as a student. Do you think that these kits are going to encourage a student, 18, 19, 20 years old, who's so far steered clear of E because they're worried about it, you think it's going to encourage students who would have gone through their university career without taking the drug to take it because they think, well, it's fine, it's not adulterated?
Right. I mean, unfortunately, that's the message that is being portrayed. I mean, when you go to a club, a lot of people, they don't go to clubs thinking they're going to take ecstasy. They're with their friends, they're there to have fun. And then, another one of their friends has this pill, tested it, hey Joe, it's okay, and they can take it. So it's, I think it's a step in the wrong direction, unfortunately.
Okay, well, somebody who doesn't think it's the wrong direction but thinks it's the right direction is Sue Blackmore. You're a psychiatrist, Sue.
No, psychologist.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I do research,
Psychologist. I know the difference. I'm almost getting mixed up. Right, now, you have a very liberal approach to drugs, you're the first to say. You think that drugs can be a pleasurable experience.
Not only that, I think they're just part of the human experience. We've evolved along with drugs. Every culture there's ever been in history and in anthropology has used drugs. So the trouble is we're rather bad in our culture. We tend to abuse them rather than use them and get ourselves into terrible trouble with them.
Okay, so do you think that Matt's test is a good idea?
I do think it's a good idea. I mean, I think the best idea is to get them all legal, get them in the shops, properly packaged, absolutely clean, with really good
You're talking about
information.
ecstasy on the test? You're talking about ecstasy?
Ecstasy, all
in
drugs,
the shops?
Yes, I think all recreational drugs should be available, clean, properly packaged with the real information.
That isn't going to happen, so let's talk about the test. Go on.
But the next best is at least to test it. And I totally agree with Matt. What I would like to see is that kids or anybody will take a decision. They know there's a minuscule risk of death. They should know in the case of
It's 1 in a million, isn't it?
Yes, it's very, very small. They should also know that you can't take very many times of ecstasy without beginning the brain damage, and therefore really it is stupid to take ecstasy more than a few times. On the other hand, it is a wonderful drug, and taken once or twice, people can enjoy it.
That's a very contentious point, and I don't think we can...
No, but what I'm trying to get at here is a balance of why people would take it with the risks, and this test at least that will help them know what it is they're taking.
But it is illegal at the moment. It is a Class A drug,
absolutely.
and as far as you're concerned, Kevin, for very good reason.
For excellent reason. And what we need to do is start cracking down on these clubs and on the club owners who know that these drugs are, people are taking drugs in their premises, and really turn a blind eye because they think that's how they can increase their profits.
I have to say, I certainly think that someone like Liz Spinks, who's not on the line and didn't hear that, would be offended by the fact you say it's a wonderful drug. I mean, a lot of people would say it wasn't.
Why people take it.
Sure, I know what you're saying, but I think that was...
Because so often we lose sight of this. You're not going to stop people unless you understand there's a reason why they want to take it. And then you have to say, look, this is what you've got to weigh up.
That's a
and
perfectly
for many
fair.
of them, it would be better for them to say, well, it may be nice, but it's not worth the risk.
Okay. Thank you all very much indeed for coming and talking about it. When will this be available? Is it available now?
It's available now, primarily through our website, ingredient45.com.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Thank you for that. Coming up on the night that the gloriously tacky footballer's wife stages an even tackier wedding, we talk to the happy husband-to-be, ex-Hollyoaks pretty boy, now oversexed soccer star Gary Lucy. He actually can play a bit, can't he?
Yeah, he's really good.
He's going to do some keepsy-upsies live. Plus, the SAS man's daughter on the night that Daddy turned out to be a liar, an imposter and a fraud. Also EastEnders Billy Mitchell live. See you in a minute. Hi.
Welcome back. Still to come tonight, the secret life of the man who claimed to be a hero. He was lying through his teeth.
He gets married tonight, ex-Hollyoaks Gary Lucy, on a fantastically tacky wedding in the even more gloriously tacky but wonderful Footballers' Wives.
And EastEnders actor Perry Fenwick tells us how Albert Square's Billy Mitchell has to confront the demons of his tortured childhood.
And if you tuned in late tonight, you're forgiven. We're going to give you another chance to qualify for You Say, We Pay in just a few minutes. Now, our next guest, Claire, can you say this for me, please? Cesarego, thank you, had quite a childhood. Her dad used to be in the SAS, so they never went to theme parks or fun centres. He'd take her and her brother to see old air raid shelters and bunkers. This is not a joke. A Sunday afternoon treat was to go to the local army surplus warehouse or maybe take a nice stroll through fields of abandoned warplanes. Claire accepted this because Daddy was a hero. Well, actually he wasn't. Daddy was a fibber, something that grown-up Claire had suspected for quite a while and then had cringingly confirmed to her while she was watching the television one night.
As far as 22 SAS is concerned, they are telling us in capital letters, Mr. Carew had no beret, he had no selection pass, he had no badge, he had no postings, and he had no operational duties. He was never a member of 22 SAS.
Tell them to put it in writing. I want it in writing, please.
Well, I've got somebody saying it on video.
I would like it in writing.
Are you therefore denying that you are Philip Anthony Cesarego?
Yes, I would like it in writing, please.
Isn't the truth that a real SAS man would stand his ground and provide an answer, and you don't have one? You're going to have to go away and think what the answer might be.
There's your answer.
Harry, that's enough.
Well, Philip Cesarego has not been seen since, and his daughter Claire is here now with Dr. Sarah Burton, author of Imposters, 6 Kinds of Liar, which shows just how far some people will go in pretending to be somebody that they're not. He was a serial fantasist, your dad, as we now know, and he came unstuck because he wrote this book, Jihad, about his undercover sort of mercenary work in Afghanistan. And there are 2 pages in there where and on the back cover, where he claims to have been an SAS trooper, which was complete cobblers. It's not true at all. No. When did you realise that the stories that your dad was telling you as you grew up about his heroics and his exploits and this and that and mercenary wars and stuff were probably mostly not true?
Well, my mum would say that they weren't true.
She'd know?
Yeah, because she'd grown up with him.
You were told by Newsnight that piece was going to be on, weren't you? So you were actually watching it at the time. Were you very shocked?
We were embarrassed.
Yeah.
We were really embarrassed because we have to live in Hereford, which is the base of the SAS.
Yeah.
Where do you think he's gone? Because he's just vanished now, hasn't he?
I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't seen him.
The sort of the roots of this fantasy seem to be that he was fascinated by your uncle's lifestyle, who was an SAS soldier, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And he used to talk to him about it, and he used to hear all these stories. And then gradually he kind of became more... He applied, didn't he, to be selected? Twice, and was rejected. And then he gradually used to visit all the pubs where the SAS people were, and he used to talk to them and exchange stories. He sort of gradually seemed to absorb this new persona.
Yeah.
And he told you that he was a real hero and made you watch films with him.
He had a way of making you believe that he was without actually saying anything.
Yeah.
He didn't actually say very much.
He'd just speak he'd kind of hint and give knowing nods and all that. I get the thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if he hadn't written this 2 pages of nonsense about being in the SAS, he would still be the author of a bestseller.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He couldn't resist it, because even on the blurb on the back, he says he's sort of described as a modern-day Lawrence of Arabia.
Their agent, Tom Carew, a young ex-SAS soldier with a talent for black bag covert operations and a veteran of the wars in Dhofar and Northern Ireland. Oh, awful. Well, all right. Thanks for coming on and revealing that about your feelings about it, because you just feel embarrassed, really, don't you?
Yeah,
as you say.
very.
Sarah Burton, you've written this book, Imposters, 6 Kinds of Liar. How does someone like this guy drift into this fantasy world to a point where I suspect they actually believe it themselves?
I think for ordinary people, it's not unusual to have an ambition. What tends to happen with the imposter is that the ambition becomes an obsession, a fixation, so that no amount of rejection is acceptable to them. And part of that is because it's not necessarily that they want to do the job, but they want the status that goes with the job. So he obviously had an image, assuming this case is what we think it is, he was very attracted by the status that he felt that job would confer on him. So to him it probably didn't matter if it's the case that he wasn't really
do you
what
think
he
he
said.
persuaded himself that he was capable of being an SAS trooper anyway, if only they'd had the good sense to let him in?
Well, I think definitely imposters of this kind, and there are examples of doctors and academics who are imposters, who certainly feel that they can do the job, but what's most interesting is they often can do the job.
Like doctors, people who pretend to be
yes,
doctors.
there are a lot of cases of imposter doctors are found out only because their record catches up with them. They're often perfectly competent, if not actually very talented.
And in fact, Claire's dad was actually very fit, wasn't he? He was super fit, and he was good at, when he was taking mercenary jobs and things like that, he was good at what he did. Yeah. But the thing is, what an incredible risk for him to take. He must have known, if he thought twice about it, that by writing this book under a pseudonym, that people would check if he genuinely ever had been in the SAS.
Well, it is a characteristic of imposters that they often seem unnecessarily to take risks, almost a court exposure. And there seems to be this whole dual thing, that they feel possibly worthless.
Yeah.
And the main thrust of everything they do is to be perceived as somebody, but underneath they feel that they're nobody. But it's got a perverse double side to it, where they do seem to take risks.
I think it's hard not to feel some sort of pity for him, really, because he was so... didn't necessarily mean any harm, just couldn't help himself.
Will exposure fix him? I mean, will he get his head together and come back as the person that he really is, or will he always be a fantasist?
Well, unfortunately, these characters often disappear from view.
Yeah.
And I think Claire just said that you don't really know where your father is now. And
Well,
in lots of
we've tried
cases-
to ring him, haven't we?
Yeah.
We tried. We did ask him. We didn't ask him because we couldn't find him. We tried very hard to get hold of him to put his side of the story, but he has completely disappeared.
I haven't known where he's been for the past 10 years. Last time I knew where he was when he was in Bosnia, and the next thing we knew, there was a thing in the paper saying that he'd gone missing in Bosnia, and everyone thought he was dead until this come up.
Poor you.
It's not unheard of, though, for imposters to actually write their whole story and then go back to it. So,
how extraordinary.
Yes.
Well, thank you both.
Okay, thank you both very much.
Bad luck.
for coming in.
Sorry.
Right, now it's your last chance to qualify for You Say We Pay. Tom,
Yeah, Tom Cruise. I was going to say Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz are in London for the premiere of their latest film. But what is it called? Is it Vanilla Pod, Vanilla Sky, or Vanilla Shake? Leave your answer on 0901 490 4444. And if you're watching Tom, sorry.
if you're a fan of the show Footballers' Wives, you're in for a treat tonight when Kyle, the superstar striker played by Gary Lucy over there,
Looking very moody.
gets married to his glamour model girlfriend, Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Love it. It's all gloriously tacky, totally over the top. I wonder which couple inspired the script.
Will you, Kyle, accept this ring as a loving symbol of Chardonnay's vows this day?
I will, yeah.
I now pronounce you husband and wife, soulmate and soulmate.
We're walking in the air. We're walking
Lovely.
Well,
Welcome home.
Gary Lucy. Now, do you like this? We prepared it specially for you.
Yeah,
this whole set.
it's very Footballers' Wives, isn't it?
It is. Do you like your picture? The wedding picture there?
Yeah, I'm sure you could have found a better one. I'm sure my mum will like it.
You look very
so
nice there.
tasteful, I think.
Oh,
it's a love. Listen, Victoria Beckham has been sort of quoted as saying that, as far as she's concerned, she and David and Manchester United are nothing like Footballers' Wives. But naturally enough, the press has decided that you two are modelled on them.
Well, I think the press picked up on it, but we kind of expected they would. I don't think it was intentionally, modelled on them too. Hopefully they won't take any offence by any of it. Cause
I think they've had worse, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. If you're interviewed by Ali G on Comic Relief, I think you can take this.
And Alistair McGowan. And Ronnie Ancona and all of that. Yeah. You actually nearly were a footballer, weren't you?
Well, as a kid, I used to play quite a lot. I played for Watford and Tottenham.
You're on the books, weren't you?
Huh?
You're on the books?
Yeah, up to the age of 16, and I got released, which was quite sad.
What, you were rubbish, you mean?
Well, exactly, yeah. They just realised I wasn't good enough and booted me out.
Was that fitness, or was that some innate level of skill that you didn't have?
No, I think, hats off to the people that are professionals, and Michael Owens and the Beckhams and that. They're fantastic, the dedication and the skill it takes to be at that level. So.
Do you think, what we know about Beckham and the way he taught himself, and practised and practised and practised, and is always the last player in training to leave the pitch and all the rest of it, always indicates to me that perhaps, great footballers aren't born, they're made, they make themselves. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of hard work, dedication. I think at the age of 16, I was finding girls and finding pubs, and the others were you know, dedicated and made the grade, you know.
Never mind, you've not done badly, have
No,
you?
you've done all
I
right,
think I've
Gemma.
done very well.
You've, I mean, in fact, since leaving Hollyoaks, you've done extremely well, and you were actually I think I can't remember if anyone else from Hollyoaks has won an award at the Soap Awards. No, because you got the Best Newcomer award, didn't you, for that fantastic storyline you had about the male rape. You say you still get sort of letters from that saying thank you for showing that.
Yeah, even till today, I still get the letters. It is very rewarding, you know.
Yeah.
How much did you have to? I mean, I vividly remember those scenes. You were brilliant, actually. Our kids thought you were brilliant. How much did you have to psych yourself up for it?
Well, we did a lot of research when we actually took the storyline on, because obviously at first we were like, well, shall we, shan't we? You know, we didn't know how the press or the public would receive it. When we decided to take it on, you know, we felt we had to do the research, and I watched films and read on the internet and met a male rape guidance counsellor, and we just went for it, you know.
Did you have you enjoyed making Footballers' Wives?
Oh,
A laugh.
we've had tremendous fun doing it, you know.
That
And I think hopefully
that
it comes
house
across.
you live in the series.
It's fabulous, yeah. It's fantastic. Huge mansion. It's been fantastic driving the cars.
Yeah.
You know, living the lifestyle supposedly without the pressures.
Well, you're actually an Arsenal fan, aren't you?
Yes.
We have something for you, but only on condition that you do something for us and people watching. It's an Arsenal strip, the current one. It'll probably change in a week.
That's hilarious.
With you on the back, all right?
Right.
Okay. And we'd be very happy to give it to you if you can do 10 keepsy-upsies, because 10 is a doable keepsy-upsy thing, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to see you do 10. Come on. You go first.
I'll have a go. Oh, okay.
Watch him.
It's your turn. Come on, you do it.
You watch him out doing it. Okay, so it's only 10.
Only 10.
Only
if you
10.
get to 10, you get the show. Where's the show?
Okay.
I'm sitting on it.
My mates are going to kill me if I don't get 10.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to do it. 8, 9, 10. 1 for luck. Yay! You get the shirt.
Brilliant.
Nice man.
You're convincing. You get the shirt.
And if you want, you can take the picture.
Can I?
Do you want the
You
picture?
can have that.
What about some of the ornaments?
Don't get greedy, Gary. You got the shirt. You
No,
can take
I
the picture.
thank you.
It's
Gary,
good to see you.
great
mate.
to see you.
Thanks very
And
much.
we love the programme.
Yeah,
It's
it's a great programme. Right, still to come. EastEnders' lovable loser, Billy Mitchell, after this. You're off.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that too. Thanks for doing that. That was fun. Actually, I would have given that.
Sadly, we won't. You won't be going to Soap Awards anymore, and neither will we, because now we've left ITV. They're furious with us.
Oh, really?
What's that?
They won't let us do it at Soap Awards.
It's still, there's still,
We don't
there's still a
know 100%,
possibility.
but they-
Fingers crossed. That was great. Thank you.
Bye, love. See you.
Cheers.
Hiya.
Where did you get the tan from?
Hi, Sarah.
Where'd you go?
Hey, no worries, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, no worries.
You've never been there. Been to
No,
Florida.
I'm glad.
It's not that far. Yeah, I'm going to give it a go, actually. See you then. Thanks for doing that. Hi again. We had a 10 grand winner last night on You Say We Pay. The record's 11, I think, 11 grand. And we just kind of know that one day we're going to get to 12, and it could be tonight. Diana from County Durham, who knew that Tom Cruise's new film is called Vanilla Sky and is on the line. Hi, Diana.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, well, great. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Are you feeling lucky?
Nervous, but lucky I hope.
I must say, you sound a bit breathless.
breathless.
I am. I've been sitting here waiting to see if I'm going to be on the TV, and it's like,
well, you are.
Take a deep breath, because that's the worst thing. Just calm down. Okay, we've got our winner, I should say to everybody else, so there's no point calling to enter now, because it's over, you see, because she's got through. So tomorrow, you might have another chance, okay? So Diana, just be very careful not to say the word on the screen when you're describing the picture, okay?
Right.
Yeah, and you know, we genuinely cannot see it. We've no idea what you're
speak
going
up,
to
you're a bit
describe.
faint. Keep your voice up so we can hear you.
All right, best of luck, Diana, and your minute starts now.
It's the big clock in London.
Big Ben.
Something else.
The last president of the United States.
Clinton.
Most people are scared of these. It's got 8 legs.
Spiders.
It's the web. Make a phone call from them. You're used to. Red.
Telephone box.
Can't hear her.
No, speak up.
Tennis player.
Tim Hemmon.
No, it's female.
Oh,
Martina Navratilova.
yeah, good tonight.
Yeah.
Use this in the house to feed your plants.
Water.
Watering can.
Genius.
You put these into
What? Put them into a what?
into toys, into radio.
Batteries.
I'll just go home.
This is in Greece, in Athens.
The Acropolis.
It's another name. It's on the Acropolis.
On the Acropolis?
On the Acropolis?
Yes.
The Parthenon. Whoa, I got one.
£8,000.
£7,000 of which was hers. Well done, you're brilliant tonight.
That's really good, Diana. Well done, you did really, really well.
It's the Irish between you, see. You had this buzz. That was great. Well
I
done.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Durham.
Oh, I thought it was County Downs.
Bye, Diana.
I wasn't there tonight, I'm sorry.
If that's an
Right.
Irish accent,
I was well off
I don't know
form
what I'll
there.
do, but anyway. Right, EastEnders Billy Mitchell, always been a lovable loser, but also a hard nut. But this week
Well,
we'll
I'm not
see
going over
fans weeping for him as he comes face to face with a terrible childhood which turned him into the thug he is.
What does my name mean to you?
I don't understand. Why have you got it in for me?
Wrong answer.
Don't keep doing it. I can't afford to have them reframed.
Still wrong. What does my name mean to you? What does Billy Mitchell mean to you?
Don't keep doing that. Stop it! Stop it! Nothing! Billy Mitchell means nothing to me. Nothing.
That's right. You see, my name means a lot to people around here. It means scumbag. It means rat. Cheat, liar, idiot. I could go on. It means a lot. But to you, Billy Mitchell means nothing.
Well,
Good
Terry
scene.
Fenwick's here with us now. Great scene, looks like a great storyline. It's a double episode.
Well, it's sort of practically a two-hander with me and John Junkin, who plays...
This week?
That was John Junkin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Friday night. It
Friday
kind of all
night.
builds up to Friday night's one. And they've done some, like, complete two-hander episodes
Yeah.
before, and this is as near as damn it. It's about 80% of it. It's just
Tell us,
us two.
explain to those who haven't watched it why he has got you so worked up, this old man.
Well, John York, our exec producer, came up with a thing that... for a long time, a lot of people have been saying to me, when I first came into the show, I was Mr. Nasty and I was looking after Jamie and giving him a hard time and stuff like that. And then I moved onto the square and suddenly you've seen like this nicer side come out, a bit more comical and whatever. And a lot of people didn't seem to be able to make the leap. It was like, well, how can you be like that one minute and how can you be like that the next minute?
Yeah.
And he said to me a few months back now that he wanted to do something which featured Billy in a storyline, and we got talking, and this seemed to be a good way of explaining a lot of things and for Billy to exercise a lot of ghosts and such, and you know, it's really well written episode. If you sit and watch it, it's actually.
Can we say at this point? Can we say what it is that you suspect him of
I think
being in your past?
Well,
we can, can't we?
It's almost you can.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's right up until even in that episode. You think it's going to go one way, and then there's a wicked twist in the middle.
You think then? We don't know for sure, but you think that this is a guy who abused you In a care centre. When
it
you were
was in
younger.
a care centre, yeah. And Billy kind of knows it. I think he's confessed it to Little Mo on screen already, so I'm all right saying.
You are saying that, but you're not 100% sure. Hence, you got to confront him.
Yeah, I mean, he thinks, he thinks it is. He thinks it's the guy and stuff like that. And there's just been a lot building up with the character over the last couple of months, where you know he's on a real downward spiral, and then suddenly this face from the past turns up, and it's quite a horrible past.
And did you know, did you, Perry, know until this point much about Billy's background?
Well, I kind of like, when I first came into the show, there was an element of it that he was the Mitchell's cousin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was a bit of a black sheep of the family, and I've kind of always played him as being, he's just a little lonely little survivor.
He's lonely.
Do you know what I mean?
That's exactly it.
Do you know what I mean? And I've always played him with that thing of just being like, you know, he's actually. I mean, I think he's all right. I think he's an all right bloke. But he's kind of like, the great thing about this episode is that you know, if I've done it right anyway, is that you should come away just thinking, that's why, and now it all fits into place, and then we move on with the character sort of thing.
Well, based on that scene, I'm sure you've done it right.
I hope so.
So in future, can it? Well, I know you couldn't tell us this definitively, but can we speculate that Billy maybe can move on and actually evolve his character slightly? I mean, for example, the storyline with Little Mo. A lot of people have written to you saying, "Oh, please get together, please rescue her."
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it, and they, you know, there's this clever thing that they do in the writing. You know, that she's got Trevor, and then Billy. You know, Billy's high point last year was Janine fleecing him of all his money and stuff like that, and they go for the wrong people. And then they get together and they're really good mates.
Yeah.
And kind of them and little Terence the dog and me goldfish and everything.
You're gonna make me cry in a minute.
It's the idea.
Well, I thought this was a well-known fact about you, but we checked it out with a lot of our team today, and they didn't know this. That Kathy Burke, fantastic Kathy Burke, based Perry,
Kevin and Perry.
Kevin and Perry on.
Mrs. Patterson.
Patterson. Well,
yes.
How did that happen?
Well, Cass says she just named him. Do you know what I mean? But there's a few elements she's stuck in there. So,
No, she said, be fair, she said she imagines that's what you would have been like at the age of 13.
That was the idea behind it initially, and she started doing the character a long, long time ago. And it just came to prominence really in the last couple of years.
Well, thank you very much for being here. It's lovely to see you. Sorry,
it's great to see you.
Good to chat to you.
It looks really good.
And
look forward to
seeing the special. It's going to be good. And obviously that's it. Tomorrow, will it be God Save the Queen or God Help the Queen this Jubilee year? Why most of us in Britain have no plans to party.
Thanks very much for watching tonight, and we'll see you again at
tea time tomorrow.
5 o'clock. Bye-bye.
How corny was that?